do that. We know he's been capable of that all through his career. That's why I was waiting for him. That's what we said. He's got to go to the basket.
Hey, what's up guys? Hope you're having a good day. If you're new here, subscribe, because every time someone subscribes, we actually save a tree. And for every like, we put out a forest fire. So save our planet if you want to. If you don't want to, that's cool. Trees can be overrated. They only provide us with oxygen. Who even needs that, right? Anyways, onto the story now. Caron Butler had to overcome a lot to get to where he did in his life. The two-time NBA All-Star and one-time NBA champion had a rough childhood growing up. Caron Butler was born and raised in Racine, Wisconsin. Butler never saw the NBA in his future at a young age. All he saw was the streets. Butler's mom was working 2 jobs just to make ends meet, and his father wasn't in the picture. Not having that father figure around, someone to look up to, caused Butler to get involved with the streets. So he started selling drugs at the age of just 11 years old. This ran through the family. Both his uncles went to jail for selling drugs, and when they did come back, they were respected in the streets and seen as legends. And Butler looked up to this as a kid. A quote from Butler, he said, "I never done drugs, but I sell drugs." He just had that mind of a hustler from a very, very young age. By the age of 13, he saw big amounts of money coming in. What Butler did with the money at that age, he says he bought trap cars. Now many of you are probably thinking, what the heck are trap cars? So what he means by this, it's if someone else around the block went to jail, he would actually buy that person's car. So maybe it would be like a Cadillac with nice rims or something, and so that's basically what a trap car is. And with his other money, he would buy gold chains and other fancy stuff. But he had to hide all this from his mother, which he did for a while. He would hide all his fancy stuff, and he did this through a paper job at the time to hide his trail a bit. He would be up really early in the mornings, he would deliver the papers, and then get on to selling drugs right away. Butler was arrested 15 times by the time he was 15. He was arrested from raids, sweeps, all linked to him dealing drugs. One incident, a guy wanted to get in touch with Butler and he wanted a 1/4 ounce of crack cocaine. Butler was at school at the time when he got the message, and he planned on quickly leaving school, making some money, coming back like he never left. This was when he was on the verge of being kicked out of his high school for his attendance. So what he did was he left his gun in the locker, along with some drugs where he stashed his stuff, and he was gonna go meet the guy. But he never got to this because the ATF, which is the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, came into his high school and found all his stuff in the locker. And they arrested him right there and on the spot in the school at Racine Case High School. He was sentenced to a year in prison. So he was at the Racine Correctional Institution for 2 months, and then he was transferred to Ethan Allen School for Boys, which was a juvenile correction where he was around other criminals of all ages. Some were even older than 20 in some cases, because that's just how the system was. This was the true turning point in Butler's life. Especially seeing his mother crying when she was visiting him. He was isolated at the time from his family, and he really thought about how he had to change his life. He knew he was disappointing his mother, his grandmother, and wanted to make a change for his future. He wanted to break the cycle in his family of men always going to jail, coming and going back, and so on. When he got out, he ended up getting a job at Burger King. His friends would come in, laugh at him working and everything, but he was determined to change, so he stuck with it. When he got out, a guy named Jamil Agari, who formed a Nike traveling team at the time, got in touch with Butler and got him on the team. Butler only played in high school for a year and he dominated. He was the top player in the state, everything was going good, and he was off the streets now. But one day he heard a loud knock on his door. Boom, boom, boom. It was a raid. Police had a search warrant for Butler's house, and they believed he was selling drugs in there. Of course, they found 15 grams of crack cocaine in Butler's garage. They weren't Butler's, but since he was the only one inside his house at the time, it was linked to him. He would have been looking at a minimum of 10 years in prison. He told the police it wasn't his. In most cases like this, they don't even listen to the guys and they just throw him in jail. Case closed, no questions asked. But the officer in charge, Rick Galler, believed him. He felt it would be a huge mistake to put Butler in jail. He actually believed Butler was telling the truth because he didn't find any weapons on him, no large amounts of cash. Also, Butler had $11 in his pocket at the time, and he saw burns on his hands, which the officer asked him about and found out later on that Butler was working at Burger King. This one decision could have changed everything for Butler, but Officer Galler believed him, let him go, and it all ended up working out. Ever since then, Butler and Galler have kept in touch and became great friends over the years, and that allowed for Butler to really focus on basketball. Butler knew this meant something, so he started looking to prep schools to make his basketball dream a reality. He got a loan from a local guy for $6,000 who was doing all sorts of things around the neighborhood. He used this money, put it to good use, to put himself through a prep school to really get away from all the distractions in his life. He went to Maine Central Institute. He ended up earning a scholarship from the University of Connecticut and ultimately made the NBA. He was picked 10th overall by the Miami Heat. Just think, a couple years earlier he was in jail, saw no light in his future, and he finally made his dreams a reality. It's crazy. And that is the story of Caron Butler.